Yo,
What up, though?
Top of the morning to you.
back at it.
We back.
Like Jordan.
2, 3, 4, 5.
It's Big Sean.
Dog. Man. Hey, man, you already know what we got to do. Scale of 1 to 10.
Ooh,
bro.
forgot.
I ain't
Good.
starting this time.
I'll take it. Is it for this week or this exact day?
However you feeling, my boy.
This week, bro, I've been doing good. I mean, I was gonna say 9 out of 10, but nothing's holding me back. So I guess I say a 10 out of 10. But the one thing that gets me, bro, if any of y'all are up in college, I have a group project for an online class. Like, it's strictly online. I feel like the teacher doesn't understand that we chose the online portion because we don't want to like do that stuff. So and then we got meet. It's the whole thing because like we have different people doing different stuff. So that's been obnoxious.
Obnoxious. The people have been obnoxious.
The situation, the handling of it. How's this
I
world?
never heard of it. Situation being labeled obnoxious. But hey, power to him.
Compliment him up in the comment and then hit the Patreon.
Bro, oh man, let's see where I'm at. I'm at an 8, bro. A solid 8, man. I mean, it was a pretty good weekend. I'm extremely exhausted. I was telling some folks that feeling kind of burnt out. So I'm trying to like reorganize the structure of life, all my commitments, and just, you know, realign things so that I don't end up in a position where I'm now where I'm like, I'm cooked, bro.
Right.
I'm fried, bro.
Like a Thanksgiving turkey.
Nah, for real. That's what you want to call me, bro. I am cooked, so I'm ready to readjust, get back into the swing of things where it's just a nice flow, nice structure to my day, or structure to my week, so that, you know, I'm not scrambling all the time, man. So I think that's the only that's holding me back from a 10 is like knowing that, okay, there's a lot of work that I got to do to reorder my schedule and stuff. So that's where I'm at.
That's good, bro. For me, I'm gonna say a 10, bro.
Oh man, first time in forever.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Like
but you know, I'm a 10 because it's a new month, you know, new blessings. The assignments on my canvas is white, so ain't nothing there. So it's a fresh, clean start, and then just intimacy with the Lord has been really high. So I am a 10 out of 10. Got to see some old friends this past weekend too.
Hey.
So I am a 10 out of 10.
Ooh, I mean, we got some good numbers.
God. So what was yours? I'm sorry. I didn't hear the 8. Okay, 8. That's an average of what?
28.
9 something? Yeah.
It's 28 out of 30. That's about a 90-something%. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, we got an 8, right?
And we passing.
You know, and now y'all got to answer that question for yourselves if you're watching it right now. You that 1 to 10, maybe you want to leave it in the comments. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments.
Nah, facts.
Now, we got a great topic today.
Oh, it's a spicy one.
Y'all might cancel us. Y'all might cancel.
You might cancel us right now. I'm trying to let y'all know. Now, this topic is on the topic discussion of relationships. Now, Joshua, could you lead us in this thing?
Man.
Could you lead us in this relationship thing, bro?
Said topic.
So first of all, I wanted to talk about, you know, what is a healthy relationship, first of all, like in your eyes. So I just want to ask y'all, like, what do you guys think of like a healthy relationship when that term comes into your mind, bro?
A healthy relationship, man. I think you got to start with it has to have a foundation, and a foundation. What I believe my eyes is a foundation on the truth of Christ, the truth of God's word and God's promises, because that is the ultimate structure, right? God designed the relationships to be with man and woman, and through that they are in submission to Him, or they're under Him. So from there, I think you got to go to that two-way street. Like a healthy relationship is where two parties are committed to each other as the entire party's committed to God. Yeah. From there, now you have a good chance of having a successful relationship because, like I said, it's founded on the truths, the promises, the facts of God, who God is. And so whenever things get a little bit rocky or rough, you don't just walk away, right? You have the foundation of knowing like, hey, like, you know, James 1:2, like count it on joy whenever you go through various trials, right? Because in a relationship, you're going to go through some trials, man.
Sure, yeah.
But like when that rocky road comes, it's like you can persevere through it because you're in submission or under submission in Christ.
Yeah.
So I think it starts with a two-way street. Two people are committed to each other under God.
Yeah. That's real.
What's man?
You got,
so I'll put it pretty simple for me. I would say it's where you're both helping each other. You know what I'm saying? So both of you are going up together. It's not one person pulling up another or slowing down another, but you're each helping the other person to go up. Because why would someone want to go down or even stay the same? Like I'm going up, I'm helping her go up, but she's helping me go up. So we're helping each other and we're always going up. Even in conflict, you're always going up. You're figuring out problems. You know what I'm saying? You're figuring them out, get them done. So how do you get against it? Say helping each other go up.
Yeah, that's real.
You know, you got to answer that too, bro.
Oh, no,
I can't wait to hear it.
He's an oracle of relationships, bro.
Yo,
Man, I bet. No.
not even.
Post fadeaway for sure.
Dirk Nowitzki.
But for me, what you said, like to start what you said is just like that foundation being Christ, right? And I think two other words come to mind is, you know, stewardship and submission, right? And so I think is once we have the foundation of Christ, like we're supposed to build on top of that with the materials that God gives us. So, you know, we have to be good stewards together to steward the materials that God has given us, not only to grow this relationship with him, but also our relationship with others outside of us. So I would probably say that. And then also like what I was saying earlier is submission is just being able to submit to one another. You know, like we hear like, you know, wives, you know, submit to your husbands, but it's also the same way as well too. Mm-hmm. We can't just be like, oh, we're just over the wives, like we're the head of the household and we're just not going to listen to anything they say. But it's like, you know, God uses them the same way God uses us. So that's what I would probably say for me.
That's
you know?
good stuff. That's some good stuff. Because now I'm thinking about like relationships, because you asked a question like what makes a healthy relationship, but I think a lot of people could be in some unhealthy relationships, some really toxic environments, right? And my goal and aim today is to help you identify what kind of relationship that you're in, right? Is this relationship helping you grow, or is it pulling from you? Is it taking things from you? Because this is something that we need to identify, because all of the time, you're in a relationship for one reason, right? Maybe a multitude of reasons, right? But, you know, I think in the past where I fell into relationships was because maybe it was rooted in like insecurity, right? And I needed the comfort of somebody near me to help me feel good about myself. So it was like, okay, well, I can find that in a girl, right? And that person can be the support system that I need to cure this loneliness or cure this insecurity problem. But what happened was when I brought this insecurity into the relationship and I leaned and relied on that person to provide that security, when things got shaky, when that foundation was compromised, I was looking to bounce into the next, right? And now this created this toxic environment because all I was always looking for was comfort. And so when things got rocky and shaky, it was like, all right, I got to find the next person who can make me feel comfortable again. I got to find the next person to be comfortable again. And that led me to a road where I just caused destruction. Because I'm constantly seeking for comfort, but destroying the people who were never meant to be in that position to comfort me. So that's tough, man, because I think we all have to identify, man, like what relationship am I in? And what relationship do I want to be in, right? Because I don't think anybody wants to be in a toxic environment.
Right.
I don't think people want to pull from each other. But a lot of times through our traumatic experiences, through our upbringing, we bring that stuff into a relationship and project it on other people, and then it causes just a multitude of things to occur in relationships that never should transpire because of unresolved issues.
I think if we're trying to learn if something is healthy or toxic, we've got to look what's inside of it, just like the food that we eat. I love Sprite. What's inside of it? Pure sugar. Is it healthy? No. But certain foods, trust me, I'm cooking. Like Chef Boy RD. But back to my thing. But certain foods have healthy stuff inside them, and so they help us. You know what I'm saying? Like carrots and vegetables, those help us.
Right.
But certain foods are not good for us, like candy. And what's not good for us about them is what's inside of them, not them, but what's inside of them. And so as you're looking at your bond that you're in, look at what's inside of it. What are you getting out of that? Are you getting healthy stuff, or are you getting sugar and bad stuff that won't help you?
Yeah, that's real. And when I think like you were talking about a toxic relationship, I can think about my past is when I was in these relationships, first of all, they were not centered on Christ at all. And so therefore it was always one person either straining way or going past the boundaries, you know, way more than they should have been, you know? And I feel like more oftentimes than not, it was me. And so with that, it was like, there was no peace for me. I was like, dang, like, you know, I'm just so out of I have no control over what's going on. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about this. But when your relationship is actually centered on Christ, not saying that there won't be a lot of things you have to think about,
right,
but it will always have that peace of God which surpasses all understanding, you know? And just like, I talked about how I was thinking about all different types of things, you know? My mind wasn't guarded, my heart wasn't guarded. But once I have my relationship foundation is actually Christ, I have the peace of God which surpasses all understanding, which will guard the minds and the hearts in Christ Jesus. So, you know, that's what I think is just like understanding, like you said, between a healthy and a toxic. Like the toxic is going to steal your peace. The healthy is going to add to your peace, you know?
You know, you said a key word that I really want to harp on. It was the word straining, right? And I want to say like a relationship there has to be mutual respect for one another. Like people, you have to stop overcompensating yourself for people who don't value you or value your time, because in that situation, now what you're doing is you're straining yourself to try and uphold something that doesn't want to be a hope, right? Now that person is just using you for what you can provide for them or give you, when you're just trying to love them or support them in the ways that you can. But ultimately, like you said, like that pulls you down. That doesn't pull you back up where you actually want to be. It's like, oh man, like, what am I doing? Like, am I not doing enough? Right? You start to question yourself, and it's like, that's never how a relationship was meant to be. It was supposed to be two people coming together to, one, help glorify God, right? And to help grow each other, right? God gave us work to do together, not for one person to pull all the work and the other person to sit back and complain all the time, the other person to sit back and critique all the time. It's like, nah, like we have to be in this together. We have to respect one another, right? And value each other, because when you value each other, now you can grow together. But if I don't value you, I'm not gonna walk beside you. Why would I do that, right? I wanna walk where I wanna walk where I place my value. And if that value is in other things or other people, guess where I'm headed? Not near you, bro. Not near you. So we gotta stop overcompensating ourselves for people who do not value us, bro. Otherwise, we just gonna be strained, bro.
That's real.
We gonna be strained.
Man, I love how you both hit on this topic of the foundation. Because as you get a house built, what's the most important part of a house? The foundation, because that's what it's standing on. And you each mentioned Jesus being the foundation. But I think, especially in my past experiences, the foundation, I think a lot of people have had the same experience. The foundation of said bond was, I was lonely, or they were lonely. I was looking for acceptance. You know what I'm saying? I was looking for someone to hang out with, and so that's the foundation. And then we started hanging. You know what I'm saying? But so many things, like what's the foundation? Because if it's something bad, then how is the house gonna be good if the foundation's bad? If the foundation's good, the house really can't be bad because it's got a good foundation. I think so many people. I think you said it earlier, but our foundations a lot of times are in our insecurities. Like, oh, I'm feeling insecure, and so this person, they have a crush on me. Like, it's just, yeah, bro. It's just, what is the foundation, bro? It can cause so many problems. It was built off the wrong thing.
That's real. And I think like some that you hit on earlier was like helping each other. And I think that, you know, some of the greatest things that can help a relationship is healthy reciprocation, bro. Because I can think about in my past when I was dating this one girl, I was always driving out to see her. I was always doing this. I was always doing that. It was always me. 45 there. 45 back. Bro, just air me out. But no, I'm driving 45 to go out and see her.
No, 45 back.
45 back, right? And I'm going, it's always me. But I was so blinded by the comparison of everybody else's relationship. Like, okay, you know, the man's supposed to do this, the man's supposed to do that, so I'm supposed to be doing this. But it's like, dude, there's no reciprocation. But I was so blinded by what seemed to be love, but it was actually lust, you know? I was so blinded. So I was just like, man, like, you know, I'm in it, and you know, this girl's doing the bare minimum, bro. The bare minimum. But I'm over here straining myself, losing my peace, losing my comfort because I just want to please another person. So I think that's what comes with being in a toxic relationship is always people pleasing, you know what I'm saying? Instead of a healthy relationship when it's people building, you know? So that's what I think.
When you don't have a solid foundation, right? When your vision is blurred, there's no way that your relationship can grow. There's no way that'll actually go either, right? I think a lot of times people hop into relationships, like you guys said, for different reasons, right? Maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's looking for acceptance or validation or security, comfort, you name it, right? But you hop into these relationships and you get those things and you realize, oh, this wasn't the person that I was actually looking for, right? You just needed something specific from them to help you deal with your insecurities or your loneliness. But what that leads us to where you end up in a situation where you're hurting other people, right? We talked about this last episode, but hurt people. And we're not supposed to be bringing this baggage into relationships, especially if you want relationships to go somewhere. And I think, speaking of like a destination, I think all relationships should have a destination. You have to know where you want to go before you hop into a relationship, right? And in my eyes, I think like our relationships should be destined for marriage. Like you get into a relationship, like you should have your mind set on like, hey, we going to exchange vows and we gonna do this thing for the rest of the time. Like why would I want to just plan to get into relationships just to date, just to break up, to do the same cycle over and over and over again? It's like, who wants to do all that, bro? Like I want to be with somebody who I can roll with, right? Do the highs and the lows together so that we can talk about it 40, 50 years later. Man, remember we was in this position, bro? Remember we did this? Remember we overcame that? Instead of talking about 40 years down the road with a potential wife that I have, like, man, this is why I act like this because this girl broke my heart and that girl broke my heart and I did this. It's like, I don't have to go through all those experiences if I have a destination in my mind, right? If I don't have a destination, then I'm just walking blindly. It's like I'm walking like I got pulled over for being drunk, man. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like I got no destination where I'm going, bro. So you have to identify your destination where you're going. Otherwise, you're gonna hurt people you never intended to hurt.
Just to be clear, you're saying if marriage is no longer the goal, they should probably leave said bond, said relationship. Because, just so that is clear.
Yeah.
I like how you said, I think we did speak about this past episode of how, where are your eyes set, bro? Because where your eyes are set, that's where you're going. Mm-hmm. So if your eyes are set on, I just want that love and acceptance, all you're gonna get out of that bond, that dating relationship is love and acceptance. So where your eyes are set, that's where you're going. So the most important question is where are my eyes set in terms of this bond with me and this other person? Because that's where we're headed. If we're headed from vows, then you're going to be aiming at that. If you got your eyes set on something else that can be questionable, that's where you're heading at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro, that's huge, bro. And I think too is just like, we all have talked about is, not only guarding our hearts, but guarding the person that we're in a relationship's hearts as well. If I know that something that I do is gonna hurt this person, why would I do that?
Yeah.
And we talked about reciprocation earlier. So if this person knows that, something they may do or say may hurt me, why would they do it? So I think like guarding each other's hearts is huge, especially when you talk about having a destination for marriage, because if you're not guarding each other's hearts, you're just gonna do that middle school dating. So you just say, hey bro, we dating just to date, bro. Hey, exactly. Just like these situationships, but it's like, no, bro, like if you want, like you said, you gotta have a destination set. Like, dude, like you ain't getting in the car just to go nowhere.
Yeah.
You get in the car to go somewhere, you feel me? So that's what I think is huge too, bro.
I like that. This compliment him up in the comments. I like that. You go in the car to go somewhere. Yeah,
Man, bro. So you say that because like you talking about like going somewhere. I just thought of something like this image. You ever seen like Looney Tunes, bro? And it's like an image of like the wall, like it's a painted wall. So it's an imaginary wall, but they just drive into it and you crash, right? I think the thought that comes to my mind is like, we have to stop basing our relationships on a certain image that we want to portray to the world. Because once we do that, bro, we just end up running into a wall. It's like people that get into relationships just to take the cute pictures and post them on the gram, post them on Twitter, post them on Snapchat. But then behind the scenes, they arguing and bickering, man. They cheating on each other because they just want to maintain that image for the world to be accepted or validated. But where does that get you? Nowhere. You end up crashing back into the wall over and over again saying, meet, getting juked all over the place, bro. Like you gotta stop trying to get in relationships to maintain an image, right? Because at the end of the day, no one cares as much as you think they do. Like no one cares as much as you think they do about your relationship. So if you're going out your way, like, man, we gotta get these cute pictures real quick. We gotta do this, we gotta do that, man, just so that we can get likes on social media, we can get claps. It's like, that's not gonna get you anywhere. Is that gonna get you to the destination that we wanna be in? Marriage? No, that's gonna get you to a place where when you don't get those things, when you post a picture, it's like, oh, we're doing something wrong. But you've been doing something wrong from the entire beginning by trying to portray that image, bro. Gotta stop, man. Otherwise, you're gonna crash into the wall. You're gonna crash to the wall, man. Meet, hero.
Bro, that's so real too, because like I can think of BC days. Like, I always think like in past relationships that I was in, that I was dating for the aesthetic, like dating for, like look at this, I can post this on Pinterest, I can post this on the gram and make people jealous, but at the same time, who am I doing it for? Okay, so after you take the pictures, after you get the amount of likes, then what? Then what's next? What's after that, That's the same thing, not having a destination. Like you're just running aimlessly, you're just punching at the air, but you're like, dude, like you have no direction, you have no destination. So I think that was definitely one of my pitfalls in the past, is just like, man, dating for these pictures or dating for the aesthetic. But at the same time, that came from just loneliness, and also I was hurting that person too, because what if this person was ready to be all in, but I'm just over here dating for the aesthetic and they have no idea about it. They're just like, okay, so where's this going? And I'm over here just lying to them like, yeah, this is going this place, this is going this place. But the whole time I'm just snapping pictures, posting them everywhere, bro. So I think it's crazy, bro.
We are in some shaky territory right now.
Yeah.
It's October. They call it cupping season. We got the pumpkin patches, the orchards.
Oh my God.
Thanksgiving coming up. Rent your boyfriend for $100, okay? We got the matching PJs at Christmas. We're in dangerous territory here. You got to stay focused. We're in dangerous territory here. A lot of people are in it for the aesthetic. Dangerous territory. Stay focused.
He not wrong. That apple orchard is open.
What?
Matching flannels.
Bro, what they say, bro? It's that season, man. I need to go on cute dates again. Cold nights, bro. Snuggle season, bro. No. It's
wild, bro.
Tis the season to not be in a relationship, bro.
No matching flannels and no matching PJs.
I also want to say this because,
The Bible verse.
hey, true, matching
Amen. I stay focused.
I also want to say this because I feel like this is something that every person behind this camera needs to know. We talked about foundation. We talked about sometimes having your foundation rooted in loneliness or insecurity. So I want to let the world know today, you do not need to be in a relationship to feel secure. And I had to learn this in my life because I come to a point to where I realized all the relationships that I was in or that I got into, they weren't making me secure, right? They were just delaying my satisfaction or delaying my insatisfaction because I tried to find my security in them. So you don't need to be in a relationship to feel secure. And I learned this the hard way when I got into those relationships, when I realized, dang, like I was never meant to be in this. So it took me being at rock bottom and having to look up at God, who was like, listen, you fell so many times because you haven't come to me. You went to all these other girls to try and find your security, and only in the place that I can give you security. You got to go to God, man, because he's the only one who can fill that empty void like we talked about a couple episodes back. You got to go to God, man. Otherwise, you're going to be left wondering why you hurt. Man. You're going to be left wondering, looking up the ceiling, man. You're going to be left, or what we don't want to happen, you're going to be on villain time, trying to hurt other people. Oh, man. You're going to go out seeking a mission, trying to hurt people because you've been hurt. But you got to go into a relationship knowing that you are secure with or without that person. You got to go into the relationship because once you don't do that, you're just hurting people. You're not guarding each other's hearts.
Yeah.
I think it's so key that we have to ask before we get into it, why are we getting into this? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, I'll say it first, I've got into them because, again, lonely, insecure, all these things. That's why I was getting into it. Why are you getting into it? Stay focused.
Nah, so I would propose a question to y'all. Now as us, being in Christ now, bro, as young men, how do we pursue a healthy relationship? We're not thinking about it. We can't be thinking about it, no time soon. We may not be thinking about it no time soon.
We're single.
If it presented itself, if it presented itself, how would you go about that? If you wanted it, how would you pursue a healthy relationship?
You want to take this first?
No.
Okay, how would I pursue a relationship whenever that time is? Man, I think there's like a checklist that I had to ask myself. One, is God calling me to be in a relationship? That's a question I have to ask.
Oh, okay.
This is a question I have to ask myself because
Some patriot.
I don't want to be blinded by lust, like you said earlier.
Right.
So is God calling me to be in a relationship? Two, I gotta ask myself, okay, like, can I see myself with this person for the rest of my life? Because again, I have the destination in my mind saying marriage, right? So I gotta understand, is God calling me to be in a relationship? And if he's calling me to be in a relationship, can I see myself with this person for the rest of my life?
Wait.
Because of that.
Is this as you're getting into it, or if you're into it? I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, we can chat about this, I'm sorry to have you cut off, but I feel like you dating them is where you learn if I can be with them long term.
Here's why I say you have to ask yourself that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as friends, I'm not getting into a relationship unless I'm not friends with that, or unless I'm friends with the person. Right. So in that time period of us being friends, I'm looking at the fruit, which is my third point. You have to look at the fruit of the person that you're planning on being with, because I don't want to hop in a relationship with somebody that has bad fruit. Because at the end of the day, it can look nice on the outside, right? Candy looks nice. You eat it, it tastes sweet, bro. At the end of the day, you eat too much of it, bro. Guess what? You get cavities, bro. You get left empty-handed, bro. You get left having to get root canals and get all that stuff. You don't want that stuff, bro. So you got to identify the destination, you have to ask yourself, or you got to ask God, are you ready to be in a relationship? Look at the fruit. And then from there, like I said earlier, you got to be committed, man.
Yeah.
Like once I'm in, I'm in.
All
right?
in.
I got to be in, man. So I got to make sure that, you know, I'm living the brother approach, right? That I'm prioritizing my time with God and I'm prioritizing that person, right? So that person feels seen and heard, right? Supported, loved in every single way. And then we got to be pushing each other closer to God. That's the way that I got to take, because I don't want to be in a relationship where we're stumbling blocks to each other.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to be a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Like we got to push each other closer to God so that ultimately we can glorify God through this relationship that's going to lead to a marriage.
That's good, bro.
Hey, stay prayed up.
That is good.
Can you ask the question again so I'll make sure that I answer it right?
If the opportunity presented itself, how would you pursue a healthy relationship?
Oh, my bad. Perfect. Great question. Okay. So you gotta hit his thing first. You gotta pray about it. Be like, yo, like, is this something I should get into?
Yeah.
There's multiple. In fact, everyone I've ever had so far, I did not pray. Guess what's happened? Everyone I've been in did not go well because I did not pray. I was not focused. I can tell you that. Was not focused. Okay. I think a key point for me is communication. Bro. You know what I'm saying? Being straight up, bro. How all my past concerns is, hey, you want to hang out, or like kind of hanging out, like no one knows what's happening. Is it dating? Is it hanging out? Is she with someone else? Am I with someone else? No communication. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's key. If you see them in a positive spot, you are going to give them that. You know what I'm saying? Because you respect them, you're going to communicate with them. So stay prayed up, communicate. And then even if it doesn't work, bro, treat them like they're God's child. That's something I was not doing, bro. If you treat them as if they are God's child, you're gonna treat them in an upstanding manner, bro. As y'all break up and split up, it should be okay. It shouldn't be no heartbeat for you see them in public and you're doing all this. Like, nah, bro. If you date if y'all are godly people dating in a godly way, it's gonna be a godly situation. You know what I'm saying? Stay prayed up, communicate, treat them like they're God's child, bro. Cause they are God's child. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when I started to treat girls like they were God's children, it was a different manner, different way. Stayed above, stayed focused.
Bro, that's a tough, bro. That's tough, bro. Tough.
What you think, boss man?
Oh, man, for me, to go off you guys, I think it's always good to ask God if it's His will for you to be in a relationship, or you know, if it's His will for you to be married, right? And so with that being number one, and I also thinking like, you know, whatever I want in a spouse, I have to make sure I'm that as well. I can't be asking, you know, for a spouse to be something that I'm not even myself, you know? So we talked about it's got to be equally yoked, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of it as well, too. And then also, she has to love God. We have to love God more than we love each other. And, you know, once we love God more than we love each other, that causes us to love each other more, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, if we have as a triangle, Christ is here, I'm here, she's there. The closer that we get to God, the closer that we get to each other. You know what I'm saying? Patreon. We're 6.99. So yeah, bro, that's what I think is just like, you know, being able to put God first in the relationship. You know, everybody has most relationships, they have, you know, God as the foundation, but they lack putting God first in their relationship. Those are two different things. Okay, now it's built on Christ, but are we putting Him first in everything we do? And something that you said was huge was that fruit inspection for sure. And I think like, you know, while you're, you know, being their friend, I think that's the key to see like, where is the fruit? Like, is this person producing fruit that I want to see in the rest of my life? You know, and we always talk about, you know, you are who you hang around. So if this person's fruit is corrupt and I over here enter a relationship with this person, what's going to happen to me later down the line if I continue to hang with this person? So, you know, that's my little list for sure. But I just think, you know, loving God more than, you know, we love our spouses is a huge part of it.
It has to be, because if you don't do that, then there's no accountability. If you guys aren't holding each other accountable, hey, like, did you get in your word today, right? Did you spend time with the Lord? What did you do today that brought you closer to God, right? Otherwise, what you're gonna do is you're gonna idolize that person, right? And what you don't wanna do is enter a relationship where your spouse or significant other is an idol, because you do that, now it removes God out of the picture, right?
Oh,
now you end up in a position that you weren't trying to be in the first place. So you got to be careful to know, hey, like, you know, we starting to prioritize each other more than we're prioritizing God, right? And then the accountability factors in, and now you're like, okay, like, no, hold on, we gotta establish some boundaries. From there, now you guys establish those boundaries, you can grow together as you guys grow closer to God. But it starts with accountability, inspecting the fruit, so you know that you can go to a place where ultimately God wants you to be in, right? So you gotta hold each other accountable, because if you're not holding each other accountable, what are you doing? You're just stumbling. You're just stumbling over stairs, steps, whatever you want to call it, man, you're stumbling, right? And at first, you start to justify it, man, like, oh no, we're good. But then as it builds up over time, right, that fruit inspection, right? Sometimes it looks good at first, but then that's that one piece of fruit at the bottom of the container, bro, that just starts to easily infect everything inside the container.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful at first. You gotta be looking at it, okay, like, whoa, are we pushing each other closer to God? Like, are we pushing each other towards that triangle? Or are we making like a square, like around this? Are we going that way? What are we doing, right?
Yeah.
Hold each other accountable, man.
Yeah, bro, that's huge.
You hit 2 key points, bro. That triangle one where you're both getting closer to God, that's really tough. Also, I love how you mentioned being equally yoked.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about them, but who are they hanging around? Let's say it every episode I can. Who are you hanging around? But in this case, who are they hanging around? And they got 5 bad people corrupting their fruit. Why would you want to get that near your fruit? Stay away from me.
Yeah.
This is something that my mom said that took me 20 years to understand, bro. 20 plus years. Be their friend first, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Be their friend first. There are so many times where I met someone and my goal from day one was to date this person. And so we only talked for a couple weeks or something, and then we dated, you know what I'm saying? That just wasn't good. I would never their friend. I can never see what that person was like being a friend. I only saw them in a dating spot because my eyes the whole time were focused on dating them, not being their friend. And where your eyes are focused, that's where you're headed.
Man, that's real too. And like, something that I love what you said is like, you know, that idolization too. And I think like, that's what we talk about, like dating for the aesthetic is idolization. You idolizing the aesthetic, you're idolizing the thing, you idolizing other people, you know, instead of God too. And like something I told God, I was just like, you know, God, I don't ever want to, you know, self-sabotage a relationship because I put that person, or I love that person so much that I put them over you, you know, and that can go for friendships as well,
over anything,
you know. And so it's just like, I don't want to self-sabotage something. I don't want to, you know, see a good person done away with in my life because I'm not locked in my word. I'm not staying prayed up, or I'm not constantly, you know, talking to God and, you know, seeking his face every day, you know. So I think, bro, that's just huge, bro. It's just like not putting ourselves, not putting other people in a position to be idolized, bro. Not putting them over to where we're just like, oh, I need your validation. I need your approval. I need your okay to do these things, instead of looking at God who knows you. He has your life breath in his hands and he knows all your ways. So it's just like, why would I put that in a person who has the same sinful nature as me when I can put it in God who is, you know, free of sin, you know what I'm saying, who has granted me eternal life, you know?
That's bars. And I want to conclude on this because you said something earlier that really like made me talk about this point, but it was like, look at God's children, or look at your relationship as God's child.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like if you were to approach a girl, right, and you wanted to go meet her father, like you'd be there cleaned up, tidied up, right, with the utmost respect for that father, because that's his daughter, right? And so in our relationships, we want to be careful and be mindful of the way that we're interacting with this person, because if it does not work out, we don't want to be that story that they're telling to their spouse. This is the reason why I'm doing this, right? This is why I act like this, because Slater did this to me, or because Joshua did this to me, or because Jaira did this to me. It's like, no, like we want them to be able to say like, man, I'm a better person because of that experience that I had with you guys. Like, I'm a better person because of what I was able to pull away, what they were able to teach me in that relationship. Like they helped me get closer to God because of that relationship. So don't make it an idol, and treat them with the utmost respect, because at the end of the day, if we're treating earthly fathers with the utmost respect for their daughters, then how much more should we treat with utmost respect for the heavenly father?
How much more, bro?
Like if the heavenly father is like, man, I gotta come up to that person every single day, like, you are God's daughter. I gotta make sure I'm treating you with precious, or cherishing it. Like,
yeah, bro,
that's God's daughter right there. I can't just be mishandling that or poorly stewarding what God has given me in front of me, man.
Facts, bro. And something that also too is just like, you know, you guys can both be Christian but not be equally yoked, bro. That's something that a lot of people can't grasp that. Y'all can both be Christian, But like y'all can both be Christian, but y'all may not be equally yoked. You know, God. We talked about what did we talk about last time? We talked about the train ride, right? God may have placed them on their life for that train, for that specific, point in time being, but they have eventually had to get off. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think about too. Is just like, it may be, oh, this person's a Christian. Oh, this person read the word. I read the word too. Like you'd be like, oh snap, this person might be the one. Nah, dog. Nah, don't that. Nah, bro. But just like keeping that in mind too is just like, she may be a woman of God, but that don't mean she your woman of God. Or he may be your man of God, but that don't mean he may be a man of God, but that don't mean he's your man of God, bro. That's something that's very profound. I've been able to think about, bro. So
No, that's a whole hard work. Y'all couldn't make it, bro. But he right about that, about how y'all could both be Christians, but not be equally yoked, bro. A lot of people don't understand that. It took me a long time too, also. That's
That's the real. Hey, y'all gotta come back for part 2, because we're gonna talk more about that equally yoked relationship
100%.
next episode. Okay, we laid the foundation this episode, but that means y'all gotta come back.
got to.
It's part 1. Sheesh, that was
y'all
solid,
next
bro.
time.
We out
Next
here.
time.
Deuce.